Hello everyone, welcome to the third session of 30 Days to a More Powerful Vocabulary by Norman Lewis and Wilfred Funk. Today we are going to talk about verbs that give you power. This course is being presented to you by me, Shilpa Jha. Please rate, review, subscribe and recommend the course. Also please leave your valuable suggestions and comments below. So we shall start. The first word is expiate. So expiate means make amends for. People expiate their sins, crimes and blunders. Yeah, of course, like you would have seen, I've taken a visual from some river. Like you must have seen in the rivers of a lot of holy places, people tend to go to, pray to the deity and just say sorry and just, what shall I say? They go to the water and then they request for God to expiate their sins, right? So people expiate their sins, crimes and blunders and errors. Next is importune. Importune is beg for ceaselessly, beseech, entreat. People importune God for divine favors. As you can see, this might be one of the scenes from Varanasi or any other river, or any other river bank where Ganga is flowing. You must have seen these diyas lit up with some leaves in the evening, because the people they blow diyas to just make the God happy and pray to God, importune that they get what they want, right? So that is importune. Next is impute. So impute means to ascribe, attribute or charge an act or thought, usually in a bad or an accusatory sense, right? So when you want to accuse someone, like this person is good, that person is bad, people impute unworthy motive to their enemies. So maybe if you don't like somebody, if you dislike someone, there are times when you would forcefully put some attribute, some bad quality on them. It might not be that they might be like that, but you just impute some qualities on them. So people impute unworthy motives. You impute unworthy motives. Of course, you feel that if he's your enemy, he has something bad or vicious to going on in his mind, right? Next is scintillate. So scintillate is sparkle with wit or humor. So you must have seen some scintillating people, generally people who are extroverts or people who who are into some art form, like maybe music, dance, or even as comedians. So they have a very scintillating personality, right? Witty people scintillate at cocktail parties, so or they would present a scintillating dance or something that would sparkle with wit or humor. Like especially I think scintillate you can easily relate to comedians, because they have a genuine power in which they can attract a lot of people towards them. You must have seen a lot of these comedians like Biswa, Kalyan Rat and so many more who are there on YouTube. So their channels are really popular because they scintillate people with their witty humor. Next is mulct. So mulct basically means cheat. People mulct the unworthy or gullible public. So they cheat the gullible public, right? Of course, because gullible public would readily understand, and I'm sure a lot of politicians do that. And like I must have explained words before also, that to gain public attention, they mulct or the public, right, according to their own selfish or ulterior motives. And if you've seen, I've put up this picture because a lot of children do that, right? They cross their fingers, and when their mothers ask that have you done this, they would say yes. So they mulct their own mothers, right, for not doing something that they should have done. Next is ostracize. So ostracize is exclude from public or private favor or ban. All these people who have been jailed for some of the other activities, of course they are ostracized for from a lot of favors, from maybe even roaming around freely on certain roads and everything. So people ostracize member of religious, political or racial minorities. Yes, even on racial grounds there are a lot of people, they ostracize their members. They don't let people come in, like in the olden times, if in temples not everybody was allowed and stuff like that. So people ostracize the members. Next is procrastinate, something that we've always done. So that means put off until another time, delay. So something that we do, right? When you have to study, you think, let's just watch this video for another 5 minutes and then I'll study, then another 5 minutes, another 5 minutes, and then you see that it's almost an hour. So people procrastinate and then they vow to be more punctual in future, something that I think all of us as students, we've done that some point or the other. We procrastinate and we promise ourselves that next time we're going to be punctual, and maybe next time also we're not able to fulfill our ambition. So that is procrastinate. Next is rusticate. Rusticate is spend time in the country. People rusticate in summer. It finances permit. So rusticate basically means, like, when you're on a holiday. People rusticate when when their summer vacations are on, or such things. So basically what they do, they spend time in the country. You can see, right, if finances permit, you can just enjoy yourself, have a great time. Next is vegetate. So vegetate is live in a passive way. People vegetate all year if they are lacking imagination, initiative, or energy, right? Like I have just given this very vague example, but I'll just tell you, like, probably when I was on a job break, so for a while I did vegetate in my house. So vegetate meant I was not doing anything, right? I was living in a passive way. So basically I did not know what to do. I was lacking imagination, initiative, or energy. So that's how people vegetate. So vegetate basically means to live in a passive way. Next is dominate. Dominate means to have control over. Beethoven compositions always have dominated the musical scene, right? Or this is very simple, like Maggie has always dominated the hearts of young children, right? Because it's very delicious. So dominate basically means to have control over, like right, maybe say Cadbury has, or Dairy Milk Silk has dominated over some other brand in the market. So basically that means it has taken the control over. Next is facilitate. Facilitate means to make easier. Let me pack for you. That will facilitate your departure. That's so easy, right? If you are helping somebody in packing, so it's going to facilitate their departure, because then it's going to be easier for them. Maybe they will be able to pack soon, and then they will be able to leave on time. Next is emulate. So emulate means follow the example of, copy, right? Let us emulate the habits of successful men. Or we try to emulate the fashion sense of many of our celebrities, right? Because we see that how they dress up, what is their fashion sense, how they look, and we try to impersonate it. So we try to emulate them. We follow the example, or we copy them. Let us emulate the habits of successful men. Next is gesticulate. Gesticulate is simple. You make gestures or motions to convey meanings. Like every time people would sometimes nod in agreement or disagreement, or a thumbs up basically means that all good, or all okay, or all the best, right? So in confusion, she gesticulated wildly. So gesticulate basically means to show a gesture, just to tell that person without words what the message that you're trying to convey. Next is recuperate. Recuperate means to get better. I've never seen a sick man recuperate so quickly. So I've never seen a sick man who's recovered so quickly. Next is penalize. Penalize means to make pay a fine or suffer a punishment. Nature will penalize you for alcoholic excesses, right? Or maybe your mother will penalize you if you have a lot of chocolates in one go, because you might get cavities in your teeth or something like that, right? So penalize means you have to suffer some punishment or pay a fine for something wrong that you did. Next is dramatize. Dramatize means to make vivid or moving. Carl Sandburg's biography vividly dramatizes the life of Lincoln. So basically it dramatizes, it makes it vivid, it makes it more prominent and going. Next is immortalize. Immortalize is to make live forever. Immortalize, every time the first word that comes to my mind is any of our lords, because they are considered to be immortal, people who cannot die, right? Or otherwise, film stars, basically by their movies they are always immortal, because they are always alive in the hearts of a lot of people. And the same goes for poets and writers and painters, everyone. Next is plagiarize. So plagiarize, I think, is one word. It's not. It has become really common now. Appropriate as and claim as one's own literary work of another. So plagiarize basically means that you are trying to copy somebody else's work and make them your own. Like claim that that is your own work. So that is plagiarize. Something that we need to be really careful of. If you've seen, there are a lot of softwares now, and even there are even literary work, it's not accepted these days until there are softwares in which they put your data and they see whether plagiarism is there or not. He built an insecure and dishonest literary reputation by plagiarizing the classics. Alright, so that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the session. Thanks a lot.